Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a review of the Savage Sword of Conan #1 from Marvel Comics. So, this is the new Savage Sword #1 that came out this week, and it's part of the new line of Conan comics now that Marvel has the rights to do Conan again. And so, first I'm going to talk about the comic, and then I'll talk about the name Savage Sword and why that's significant to be on a comic book. And so, this is the new Savage Sword of Conan #1. So this is an Alex Ross cover. And if you watch my Conan the Barbarian #1 review, you'll probably know I wasn't impressed with anything. From the cover to the last page, nothing in there impressed me. This is an impressive cover. I love Alex Ross. I love the detail. I love the rendering. I love the colors. I love the little details like the intestines that the skeleton still has for some reason. I love this bored look on Conan's face. He's just like annoyed that he's fighting the skeletons, but he's not really like passionate or angry about it. He's just like, skeletons, let me get this over with again. But I like the cover. This is what I want to see in a Conan cover. So, this is a very traditional way to begin a Savage Sword. This is pretty much the page you'd get in all the issues, with the Nemedean Chronicles telling you who Conan is and what he's going to do and all that good stuff. And then a map of Conan's world. Again, very traditional beginning for a Savage Sword comic. Back in the day, this was kind of the this was the precursor for the modern day recap page. So, a little ahead of its time. And so this is page 2 and 3. And of course it's a complete waste of space. It's just the name of the comic and then the credits. But then we get right into the action. And oh my goodness, is the action looking very, very nice. You will see we have backgrounds, we have detail, we have nicely rendered characters. This looks like a fantasy comic, kids. It actually looks like a good fantasy comic. This is done by Ron Garney, and I've never seen Ron Garney put out art like this before, but I'm glad he did, because look at this comic. Like, holy crap. Like, just look at this. It is just beautiful. And I won't say not just Ron Garney. Everybody involved in this artwork, all the entire creative team, just hats off. From the artist to the colorist, I mean, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is what I want to see in a Conan comic. And just another, kind of compliment is that a lot of comics, when they're drawing a dark scene, will just color it dark and you won't be able to see anything. But this comic uses artistic license and puts light in there and just kind of chisels the image they want out of the darkness. And it's just beautiful. And this is how you do it. This is how you tell stories. This is what you get when you get guys who know what they're doing on a comic book. I like the story. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but let me just say that I believe the writer, this is Duggan, and I probably am slaughtering his name, but he knows how to write Conan. This is very in keeping with the character, and it's a solidly told tale, and I feel fulfilled at the end of this, and I feel intrigued to see what happens. And one thing I do want to talk about, just specifically, because this image is out. This particular page is available online as a preview, so I might as well just go ahead and show it and just talk about this Snake Man, which I really dug. I really like this. I mean, beautifully rendered, and I like the design on him. So when I say, Serpent Man, I'm sorry. Snake Man is Masters of the Universe. Serpent Man is Conan. I apologize. My barbarian, just too many barbarians going on in my head here. But when we talk about Serpent Men, you might think of these gentlemen. A humanoid body and a snake head. But that's not what you're seeing there. That this is, this guy has a serpent tail. The question I have is, can they do these guys? Because they, as you can see here, are associated with Cole. That's actually where they appeared at during Robert E. Howard's life. Now, there was a Conan novel that was put out after Robert E. Howard died that the Serpent Men actually appear in. So I don't know if Conan by Marvel can have these guys in there, because right now Cole is being done with the Serpent Men by a different company. It's not very good either. just saying. Cole Eternal, not a very good comic. And plus, it's taking forever. I've been told that the annual to wrap it up is going to come out in like the summer or something. I don't know. That's another video. Anyway, so since these are wrapped up by another company, does that mean that Marvel can't do Serpent Men as we see them here? I don't know, but clearly, there have been a tradition of Serpent Men type villains. This is the man serpent that appeared in the God in the Bowl storyline or story. So it's not that unreasonable to think that there might be other types of serpent men, or maybe some crossbreeding between man serpents and serpent men or something. I don't know. I don't really care. I just like the idea of a serpent man of some sort, or serpent men appearing in this story, because I love serpent men. They are awesome. They are one of the endearing villains that Robert E. Howard created. And I am really intrigued by this story, and I would like to know where it goes. I think the Alex Ross covers, along with the good art and story I enjoy, are probably enough to justify me getting this. And on top of all that, you remember that prose in the back of Conan the Barbarian I said, like, put me to sleep? This one's actually interesting. So I actually found it to be a perfectly readable story. I don't know if it'll be a good one, because it only had a few pages, but I don't mind reading the next chapter of it. So I enjoyed it beginning to finish. So I'm probably getting the rest of this, and I'm probably getting it in single issues. I'm probably going to just put it on my pull list at the comic shop, because I want the Alex Ross covers. I want the option of displaying these. So, and so that's what I thought about the issue. And so why is it Savage Sword? Well, that's a good question. But I can tell you what Savage Sword used to be. Savage Sword used to be this stuff you see behind me. So it was a magazine that was put out, and it would be very thick. I should have checked the page count, but it's like 50-some pages, I think. It was very thick, and sometimes the story would take up that entire length, or sometimes it would be a story that would be about comic book length, maybe a little longer, but then with some backup material. But regardless, every issue you got this beautiful painted cover, and everything about Savage Sword was just bigger than the regular series. It could be stories told at any point in Conan's life. And so you just kind of expected, like, kind of Conan the movie every single issue you picked up, because everything was bigger. The images were bigger in the comic, the pages were bigger, the action was bigger. You could do stuff that was a little bloodier and sexier. And it was just and they didn't always succeed in making it good. I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, every issue of Savage Sword was fantastic back in the day. No, it wasn't. But it was always fun to see them try. And when they succeeded, it was wonderful. Now, the new one, this isn't magazine size. This is a regular comic book. And so what they've done with the new one, I'm a little fuzzy about exactly the format here. So it is going to be storylines based in various different times in Conan's life. So, like, for instance, this one is 5 issues long, and then after that, they're going to do something else completely different, unrelated to this storyline. Now, I do not know if they will be keeping the same creative team or the same writer, or are they going to do something else? So I've seen this style of book done several different ways. Legends of the Dark Knight, back in the day, that was Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight, would basically have a new creative team every storyline. And it was very successful and was very long lasting. There was also a Marvel comic called Iron Man Legacy, which was very short lived, and it had one writer and, you know, did storylines like that. You know, it'd be like 6 issues, you know, at a various point in Tony Stark's life, and then 6 issues that would be unrelated at a completely different part in his life, and that lasted like a year. So I don't know which one they're going to do. And it sounds kind of a weird concept to do in a modern comic book where, like, you know, every time you do a new creative team or a new direction, you have a new number one. Are they really going to stick with this? I don't know, but I'm, at least for this first plot line, I'm willing to see where it goes. Now, this is one of 3 Conan titles, and the reason I bring this up is Iron Man Legacy was a title that was short-lived, but it was kind of that way by design. Iron Man Legacy was put out to try to capitalize on the Iron Man movies, so Marvel would have a bunch of stuff that they could, you know, put in trade paperback that people could order when they saw the Iron Man movie, whatever it was, Iron Man 2 probably at that point, I can't remember. And so this is a very similar cash grab by Marvel. They're putting them out twice a month. We have 3 titles. Marvel is trying to maximize how many Conan comics it's putting out right now because it knows there is hype behind Conan. They know there's this honeymoon period. Everyone is going to be super curious about anything they put out with Conan, so they're trying to put out as many Conan comics right now as humanly possible. Now, just like that Iron Man Legacy, once that hype is over, there's probably going to be some course correction there. I would assume Age of Conan, which is the 3rd title that's going to be coming out, will probably be the first to go. I assume Conan the Barbarian, though I suspect it'll be relaunched every few years like every other comic book now, will probably continue and be their main flagship. The intriguing thing is what's going to happen to Savage Sword. Will that continue, or will that be, you know, kind of canceled at some point if it doesn't sell? We'll see. I mean, what do you guys think? Is there enough demand for a modern day Conan comic from Marvel to sustain 2 titles? Hell, or is there enough for 3? Is there enough, you know, for more? So let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the issue. Let me know what you thought of the old Savage Sword. Do you have any favorite memories? Any favorite covers? I'd love to hear it here. And so that's, I guess, all my thoughts for right now. I'll be back with more videos, so like and subscribe. And until next time, until Marvel makes Conan an Avenger, make mine Marvel. Wait, what did you say they just did?